Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Do Your Parents Want to Stay Home, our weekly virtual family caregiver education series powered by Sugar and Spice in-home care in Flagstaff, Arizona. I'm your host, Infinity Martin, Community Health and Engagement Specialist here at Sugar and Spice, and each week we bring you heartfelt conversations, expert insights, and practical tips to support families caring for aging loved ones. Every morning, when you open your front door to start your day, thousands of families are opening theirs, facing the deeply personal challenges of aging, independence, and caregiving. Behind many of those doors are devoted caregivers trying to balance their own lives while honoring one wish their parents often express: I just want to stay in my own home. So today we're starting a conversation that matters because at Sugar and Spice in-home care, we believe no family should navigate caregiving alone. Joining me today is someone who truly understands the heart of caregiving, Regina Deck. She's a registered nurse, geriatric wellness specialist, nurse educator, and elder care consultant right here in Flagstaff. And beyond that, she's the president of Sugar and Spice in-home care and the inspiration behind much of what we do. Welcome, Regina. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you, Infinity. That was amazing. It's good to be here today.
Good. So, Regina, let's get started. Well, tell us a little bit about your background. How did you get into elder care and what inspired you to start Sugar and Spice in-home care?
So you're not going to believe this, but I found this newspaper clipping from, I don't know, a long time ago. I can't reveal my age, but this is this is me in junior high.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I am working with, I'll say her name, it's not a HIPAA violation because it's on the article, but her name was Mary Friesen. And in junior high, they had this creative period hour. And so twice a week, we could choose to go do something in the community. And I chose to go to the nursing home. And so that's kind of where it started. And then, we just go and hang out with our people and do fun things with them. And I just fell in love with it. I continued it for years after that, just on my own after that period was over, that's the semester was over. But yeah, isn't that cute?
So cute. Oh my
So
gosh.
I could say I've been in this field for a very, very, very long time. Um, let's see. So I tell me your question again. I'm sorry, I got off track.
No, that's okay. Just tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into
Oh,
elder
sure.
care.
Okay. So my background is I'll just start with the nursing part. I went to nursing school a little bit later, graduated when I was 40, went straight into the ICU and the ER. And the ER is really where I started to dream about doing something different. I saw some of the clients, some of the patients that would come in over and over for the same kind of problems, same kind of chronic conditions, and I really wish that I could do more. So ended up starting this company with the help of a business developer, and we've been in business almost 9 years now. We're going to celebrate our 9-year anniversary next year or next month, and so I'm super excited about that. And yeah, we've been helping families and doing this for a long time. I think the heart of it really came from my relationship with my grandmother. She was definitely one of my favorite people in the whole world. Lived on a little farm in Kansas and lived in her own home successfully and safely until she was like 95, I believe. I have to check with my
Wow.
mom on that. But she had family close by, but yeah, she was able to live in her own home independently. And my favorite thing to do with her was to just hang out in the kitchen and go out with her and feed whatever animals were around at the time and just be a part of her life, go on walks with her on the farm, go with her to her women's groups, and just hang out. We just did life together. We ran errands together. We went exploring around um, the little parts of Kansas that she lived in, and I loved that. And when I would see the patients in the ER, I really wanted to do a lot more for them. I wanted to be able to get at the root of their issue. So that's kind of where this came from.
That's wonderful. Well, so now, of course, everyone loves the name Sugar and Spice. It's such a unique and memorable name. How did that name come to be, and what does it represent for you?
So back to my grandma again. A lot of our time was spent baking in her kitchen. Her mom was a pastry chef, and so she knew how to make all kinds of goodies. There was always homemade ice cream in her freezer, and anytime we came, there was some kind of sweets. So I developed quite the sweet tooth, but I loved just hanging out with her and baking and cooking for the family. Um, and so started to go on a rabbit trail, but I'll reel it in. So yeah, the name also, I wanted it to be memorable. So nursery rhymes were a big deal for a lot of the generation that's my age and older. And I wanted it to be something familiar that made sense. And it was also unique and different. So that's kind of where the name came from, Sugar and Spice in Home Care.
Okay, yeah, definitely memorable. Excited to get the name out there more.
Thanks.
Now, let's dive into what so many families are facing right now. Every day, caregivers ask themselves difficult questions. How do I keep my mom safe without taking away her independence? Where does my parent belong, at home or a senior living facility?
Mm.
How do we even talk about care with love and respect? So, Regina, you've worked with so many families over the years. What are some of the biggest challenges caregivers share with you?
I would say family caregivers. I would say the biggest challenge is actually not something that they share with me. It's something that we realize through being in their home and being around them, and that's the stress of being a family caregiver. And sometimes they will share bits and pieces of it, but I think how the depth of how far that goes and the weight of that is something that is unknown until you endure something like that on your own. Um, when I started this company, oddly enough, my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's about 6 months into me starting this company. And so at the time, I thought I've got a good grip on this. I've been a nurse, I've been around seniors for, my whole life basically. I think I know what this is. And then when my dad was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and through his 5-year journey, as a daughter and a family caregiver, I realized that I had no clue from before of what I thought I understood. So it is really the challenges that our family caregivers carry is a very heavy weight. It doesn't matter if you're the spouse. It doesn't matter if you are a daughter who lives in Florida. If you're caring for a senior parent, they are on your mind 24/7. You're thinking about them at night. If the phone rings and it's them, depending on the hour of the day, your heart's going to jump into your stomach and you're just, if you get a call from a facility, your first thought is everything okay? I mean, it's a very nerve-wracking, stressful, and it's probably the biggest, the most loving, most sacrificial thing you can do for someone that you're caring for that has dementia or some kind of mobility problem, chronic disease, that kind of a thing. So I would say that it's actually an unspoken challenge would be the biggest one.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. My heart is very close to this as well. I helped care for my mother while she was going through colon cancer and
Mm,
while I was a new mom of newborn twins. And I mean, gosh, my dad was just, he did so much, so much. And,
mm,
drove her to all her appointments, everything. And it just, I mean, not only did it take a toll on me, but it really took a toll on him as well. And it's definitely, yeah, totally
yeah,
unspoken. There's just no words that you can put on it. And I mean, or even really tell people. So, yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
Sure. And
Um,
that's really why we're here. We we understand we may not be able to fully grasp the weight of what our family caregivers are carrying, but we do have a good understanding and we're willing to dive into the deep end with these families and come alongside them. Um, and just really support them in wherever they are, and with very creative solutions to meet them. Everybody is different, everyone responds differently. And it takes a little bit of time to build that trust and that relationship. But our goal, our ultimate goal is to be, we want to feel like we are almost family to our clients and their families. We want to feel like we are an extension of the family that they so desperately need, that maybe are not here, or maybe they don't have good relationships with their extended family. Maybe they live out of state. Maybe they just can't respond. And we really care about the details and the intimate moments, the challenges. Um, Honestly, like the nitty gritty, the brief changes, right? The showers, battling with someone to get them in the shower because they haven't had a shower in a month or something, dealing with just all kinds of things, not wanting to eat, not wanting to get out of bed. We help with all of those things, and we really do alleviate stress from our family caregivers, and we want them to know that they are not alone in this journey, and that they are known and seen, and it's important that we support them because they have a full-time job, like your dad, full-time job around the clock. We want them to be able to have the space to take care of themselves, to do what they need to do to fill their tank so that they can be the best they can be for their loved one.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, just alleviating stress is a huge, and then just giving them a little bit of time to do a little bit of self-care that they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. I mean, take a nap or
A shower.
yeah, a shower, or just sit and be and not have to worry that something is going wrong, So it's
Right.
just so important.
We started one of the clients, one of our most favorite clients that we ever had. She had gotten to the point, so she was the family caregiver for her husband. He had dementia, and she had adapted her life to where she could either take him with her, or she had services come to her home. So like her stylist would come to her house and cut her hair instead of her going to the salon, because that was such a task, big. I can go into all the details of how that could have not worked out well for somebody with dementia in a salon, wandering around and wandering outside, and all those things. But she would take him when she needed to go to the dentist. And that was a problem because he wouldn't stay put in the chair next to her. He
Mhm.
would get up and wander around the office, and he's in other patients' rooms. He's wandering outside. He's in the front office. It's just what happens. And so it's important. These family caregivers, they've got health problems too, and they need to be able to take care of them when they happen, and not put them off. So it's a big deal. We need to get some help out there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So, for those who might be unsure whether their loved one is ready for home care, what are some signs it might be time to reach out for
Mm.
help?
So I would say first and foremost, if your family member it has a safety issue, that you are struggling with them, maybe I know we're focusing on dementia today, but if they're just a fall risk, and they maybe they live in a two-story home, or they live somewhere where it's just going to be very dangerous if they fall. Maybe you've got ceramic flooring, or it could be anything. Somebody could just roll out of bed and smack their head on the nightstand. So I would say if they are at risk for safety, it might mean that they're going to be eating rotten food out of the fridge because they don't have the discernment. Or maybe their eyesight's bad. They can't see the mold. Maybe they, lost their sense of smell, and so it could be a number of things. I would say safety is first. Second would be quality of life. If their quality of life is deteriorating, if they've kind of dropped into depression, they're just not getting up and moving anymore, which once you stop that daily mobility, there's just a cascade of things that happen that can cause a decline from there. Um, Sleeplessness, loss of appetite, weakness, immobility, loss of coordination, constipation. I mean, it can just be a bunch of things that can happen that if we can just come in the home a little bit here and there and keep them up and keep them moving, keep them social, then we can alleviate a lot of problems and actually keep them at a level of maintenance where they're safe and they can prolong the time that it's okay for them to be at home. But the other thing I want to point out is again, back to that family caregiver. If you as a family caregiver are struggling, and maybe we can post this on Facebook as a link, but I've got phases of the caregiving journey here, and I'll just read off a couple of them. So we have step one is adaptation. That's where you're still hanging in there. Step two is exhaustion. Step three is damage and irrevocable. Well, it didn't go on from there, but where the issues are irrevocable for the family caregiver. So just step two, exhaustion, usually hits somewhere between 19 to 36 months of caring for a loved one. Prolonged stress in their personal and work life. They start taking medications for sleep or mood disorders. Ability to cope is reducing. Social connections are weakening. Support system begins to fail. Outside help begins to diminish, except for appointments and errands to pharmacies and grocery stores. Beginning to feel alone, isolated, depressed, physically ill. Quality of work begins to diminish. So these are just some of the things that kind of are the start of the signs. And then, obviously it gets worse from there, but we can post this. But yeah, I would say if that family caregiver is really struggling, then that's time to get some help.
Yeah, definitely. So next, let's talk about some solutions. Once a family decides they want to explore in-home care, what does the process look like with Sugar and Spice?
Honestly, if they'll just pick up the phone and give us a call, we can take it from there. A lot of people have just some fears of the unknown. What's this going to be like? How do they hire their staff? Are they going to come in and take over my life? Are they going to be a good personality fit? Um, are they going to come in and steal my things? Are they going to steal my mom's things? Um, Will they respect her? Are they going to come in and sit on their phone and not even interact with her? Are they just going to clock in and do nothing? So if they will just give us a call, we'll come out and do a free in-home consultation and answer all their questions. No pressure. They can choose to move forward or not. The awesome thing about us is we don't have contracts. We have a literal 6-page agreement. It is very straightforward. It is simple. There's no small print. We are very flexible. They can stop and start services whenever they'd like. There's no penalties for stopping services. You got family coming in for the holidays and you want to stop for a week, you don't have to pay for that week. We make it very easy. We have no minimum number of hours. So if someone is hesitant, they want to give us a try for a little bit, we can start out small. We can do an hour, literally an hour. We can do 30 minutes. We have no minimums. So we make it super, super easy and flexible. We'll be happy to talk to anybody. Again, there's so many different um, possibilities. Everyone is so different. So we are highly customized. We design a care plan that works for them, that is built around them and where they are at in whatever journey they're in.
Yeah, absolutely. And another thing I might add is that I saw that you guys also do background checks on all your caregivers, which is a big deal, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and
backgrounds, drug testing, obviously in-person interviews. We do our own in-house training. So we learn a lot about our staff before we ever put them with any of our clients. And I have a personal guarantee that again goes back to my grandma. Um, I will not put a caregiver in a client's home that I wouldn't trust with my own grandma, which again was my favorite person on the planet. And so we want our families to know that we really genuinely care about them. If we're going to be an extension of your family, we're going to be a positive influence for your loved one.
yeah. Well, is there anything else that you would like to add today?
Are we done already?
I know that was pretty fast.
Let's see. I think if I were to add anything, let me go look at my little notes. I'm cheating. Hmm. Let's see. I would just maybe review some of the most common questions I get, which is pricing. So our prices vary because we have no minimums. We start at $1 a minute. And then we have all the way down to 24 an hour. So we have lots of different rates and options to choose from. We can do round the clock care. We can do live-in care. We can do 8-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts. They are not set times. A lot of folks think that they have to choose a pre-made schedule. We can come on Saturday at 8 a.m., 9, 10, 11, 12, like whatever you need. We work on holidays. We answer all of our own phones. You're never going to get an answering service in like Kentucky or something where you're having to answer what city are you in. You're gonna get the phone answered by somebody who it either knows your family member or at least is familiar with them, based on how long we've had you as a client. We have a small leadership team that you're going to meet. We have a small leadership team, and so, excuse me, we're able to stay closely connected with our staff and with our families, and so we really get to know them well. Um, let's see. We talked a little bit about how we choose our staff. We are super picky. And oh, maybe like our service area. So we are based out of Flagstaff, Arizona. We serve about an hour radius around Flagstaff. So we can go to Winslow, we can go to Williams, we can go to Sedona and all the places in between, Mountain Air. Um, and we'd love to meet you.
Yes, we would. Absolutely. Okay, well, this conversation today is just such an important one, and I want to thank you, Regina, for sharing your insight and heart with us. To our viewers, if someone you love, a friend, neighbor, or even a coworker could benefit from support, please share this video with them. You never know whose caregiving journey you might make a little easier. And join us today every Tuesday morning at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Facebook for new conversations that can help you care for the people who cared for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Infinity.